Good, man.
What's up?
How much time did you get?
3 months.
Yeah, that ain't shit, cuz. You know what I mean? I just did 3 months, fuck, 3 times, man. I could do that on my fucking head, in the hole. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So how long you got, man?
How fucked business is that, man? Don't be asking no stupid punk-ass questions around here.
Yeah, all right, man.
Gonna get fucked up? Where'd you get those at?
At the mall.
Did mom give you those kicks or something?
Nah, man, I bought these.
Let me check them boots out. Cop
Nah,
them
man,
over.
I'm only an 8.
What the fuck you mean you don't? You a bitch, man. Ooh-wee. I'm looking fresh to death, you feel me?
Oh, man.
You like that? How am I looking fresh?
Nice. Let me see that other one.
Now that they're on my feet and everything, I don't really feel like taking them off. They too comfy. You know, plus I'm fresh, you know what I mean? Some boots don't take it no offense, you know what I mean?
Where the fuck's Banks?
Yeah, he's upstairs. Thank you.
The story unfolds by introducing us to 3 teenagers whose lives have taken a tumultuous turn. Davis, a 16-year-old, is initially seen enjoying a carefree moment with his girlfriend. However, the tranquility is shattered when we learn that he has been arrested for drug possession with the intent to sell. Next, we meet Angel, the youngest of the trio at just 15 years old. His fate is similarly grim, as he too has been apprehended for assault and car theft. Finally, we encounter Butch, a 17-year-old who finds himself embroiled in a heated argument with an agent.
Did you make this?
No. Your cellmate told me you made this.
Don't do that again, man!
Do you know where you are?
I fucking threatened you, man! You don't do it again!
I'm gonna come back in 5 and you're gonna give me a name.
In a moment of frustration, Butch retaliates after being slapped by the agent, resulting in his arrest for assault. Following their arrests, Davis, Angel, and Butch are sentenced to a juvenile correctional facility in Montana. Upon their arrival, they undergo a thorough examination to ensure they are not concealing any weapons or controlled substances. Once cleared, they are instructed to remove their personal clothing and don the standard prison uniform. Superintendent Sands then addresses the new inmates, providing an orientation that outlines the facility's rules and security protocols. He emphasizes the strict prohibitions against weapons, illegal substances, and pornography, warning that forming gangs will incur severe penalties. Sands encourages the boys to approach their unit supervisor, Goodyear, with any questions or concerns. Known for his strict yet fair demeanor, Goodyear takes the boys to their dormitory and assigns them beds while explaining the hierarchy among detainees. He points out that the color and style of their uniforms indicate their status within the facility. All detainees start at the first level, with their behavior closely monitored. Those who demonstrate improvement can advance to higher levels, wearing black pants and polo shirts that signify their progress toward reintegration into society. Conversely, those who misbehave are demoted and must wear orange clothing, marking them as troublemakers. During Goodyear's orientation speech, Butch yawns, prompting Goodyear to remind him that he has reviewed his file and should be paying closer attention. The scene shifts to Butch in the basement, waiting in line for dinner. As he stands there, an inmate named Banks, one of the most feared individuals in the facility, deliberately pours hot food on Butch's thumb. Whether intentional or not, Banks seems to be asserting his dominance over the new arrival. Despite his anger, Butch manages to maintain his composure and chooses to sit with another inmate clad in an orange jumpsuit named Max. Max is known for his sharp wit and rebellious nature, often frustrating the authorities with his antics. He advises Butch to ignore Banks, suggesting that this strategy will help him avoid trouble. However, Max shows little interest in forging a connection and quickly leaves. The first day and night pass without further incident. As dawn breaks on their second day, Goodyear enters the dormitory to awaken everyone, signaling the start of another challenging day ahead. The day begins with the inmates tasked with cleaning the facility's floors. As the morning unfolds, Goodyear calls Angel away for an undisclosed reason, leaving Davis vulnerable. In that moment, Banks, a notorious figure in the facility, along with his accomplices Looney and Eckersley, approaches Davis.
What's good, man?
What's up?
How much time did you get?
3 months.
Yeah, that ain't shit, cuz. You know what I mean? I just did 3 months, fuck, 3 times, man. I could do that on my fucking head, in the hole. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So how long you got, man?
How the fuck business is that, man? Don't be asking no stupid punk-ass questions around here.
Yeah, all right, man.
Gonna get fucked up? Where'd you get those at?
At the mall.
Did mom give you those kicks or something?
Nah, man, I bought these.
Let me check them boots out. Cop
Nah,
them
man,
over.
I'm only an 8.
What the fuck you mean you don't?
With a swagger of authority, Banks insists on swapping his worn-out shoes for Davis's new boots. Frustration wells up within Davis, but he feels powerless to resist. Reluctantly, he slips on Banks' old, scuffed footwear. Meanwhile, in another area of the facility, Butch is diligently cleaning the floors when exhaustion overtakes him, and he falls asleep. Goodyear, noticing his slumber, rouses him with a stern command to resume his work. Shortly thereafter, Banks and his gang find Butch and begin to taunt him, spitting on him and the freshly cleaned floor. The disrespect stings, igniting a simmering irritation within Butch. However, Goodyear calls him back to focus on his tasks, and Banks and his cronies saunter away, leaving Butch to continue as if nothing had happened. In a later scene, Banks clandestinely hands a bag of illegal substances to an inmate named Shadow, hinting at the undercurrents of rebellion within the facility. That night, unlike the previous night's relative calm, a darker atmosphere descends upon the dormitory. Banks, Eckersley, and Looney awaken and stealthily approach Butch's bed. They cover his mouth to stifle any cries for help and begin to beat him mercilessly. Banks delivers a punch to Butch's stomach while another gang member prepares to strike his face. However, Banks intervenes, reminding him not to leave visible marks that could expose their actions. The following morning starts as usual, with guards waking the inmates and inspecting their beds. One guard expresses displeasure at how Angel has made his bed. The situation escalates when Angel's disrespectful attitude provokes the guard further. However, sensing the threat of solitary confinement looming over him, Angel quickly rectifies his mistake. Later in the day, Goodyear releases the other teens but keeps Butch behind due to the visible wound on his face. He questions Butch about the injury around his eye, but Butch lies, claiming he simply slipped and fell during the night. Goodyear's skepticism is palpable as he threatens solitary confinement if Butch does not tell the truth. Nevertheless, Butch remains steadfast in his fabricated story. As Butch brushes his teeth later that day, Banks walks by and lightly bumps into him with his shoulder, a subtle act of intimidation. In subsequent scenes, the inmates are taken outside for work detail. Max stands apart from the others, gazing longingly at nature and yearning for the freedom he once enjoyed. Butch is then summoned to Superintendent Sand's office, where he again insists that his injuries are the result of a fall. Frustrated by Butch's evasiveness, Sands orders him to solitary confinement as punishment for his dishonesty. In another classroom scene, Max recites a love poem to the psychologist, who mistakenly believes it is directed at her. Offended by what she perceives as inappropriate behavior, she promptly expels Max from the class. Meanwhile, Banks and his gang plot to lure Davis into trying narcotics. Eager to prove his toughness and unwilling to show weakness, Davis succumbs to peer pressure and snorts the powder. Almost immediately, he collapses onto his bed as the bullies seize the opportunity to torment him further, drawing on his face and playing psychological games that heighten his paranoia. As Davis begins to panic and scream for help, Banks and his cronies flee before they can be caught. Shortly after this incident, Davis finds himself barely able to stand and crawls into the hallway where Goodyear discovers him in a disoriented state. Goodyear swiftly takes him to the bathroom, places him under a cold shower, and forces salt water down his throat until he vomits up the substances he ingested. Like Butch before him, Davis is sentenced to solitary confinement, with Goodyear advising him to stay hydrated. As events unfold further within the facility, it becomes evident that some inmates have devised a method of smuggling drugs into the institution. Meekin, a second-level inmate responsible for collecting trash during visitations, exploits this opportunity to secretly transport contraband items to others within the walls of confinement. In one pivotal scene, a clandestine exchange unfolds as Banks is handed a bag of pills. After enduring 48 hours in solitary confinement, Butch, Davis, and Angel are finally released, each carrying the weight of their experiences. Butch, in particular, is biding his time, waiting for the perfect opportunity to exact revenge on Banks and his gang. One day, as Looney and Eckersley engage in a game of table tennis, they attempt to provoke Davis.
fuck's Banks?
Yeah, he's upstairs.
Thank you.
Inside the bathroom, Davis quickly retrieves his boots from Banks, but their actions do not go unnoticed. Shortly after, the guards discover the injured crew, prompting Goodyear to confront Butch. He reprimands him for his involvement in the altercation. However, since the bullies have chosen not to report the incident, Goodyear finds himself unable to impose any official punishment. In a fit of frustration, he aggressively shoves Butch a couple of times.
Do that again.
Don't do what again? Come on, throw down.
Despite the anger boiling within him, Butch manages to restrain himself from retaliating. Meanwhile, Davis receives a visit from his mother, who reveals her intention to sue the institution. Fearing the consequences this might bring from the other inmates, who would likely escalate their torment, Davis pleads with her not to proceed with the lawsuit. Following the confrontation with Banks, a brief period of peace settles over Butch, Davis, and Angel. They share stories from their pasts and joke with one another as if nothing had transpired. However, an inmate named Shadow approaches Butch with an invitation to join his gang. Shadow views Butch as a valuable asset that could bolster his group's strength, but Butch is repulsed by the rampant drug culture within the facility. After a group therapy session with a psychologist, Butch seeks out Meekin, the inmate responsible for smuggling drugs into the center. When he finds Meekin, Butch seizes the pills that were intended for Shadow. As time goes by, the new inmates begin to acclimate to life in the institution and form bonds with one another. Davis entertains his peers by recounting a humorous story about a mischievous encounter with his girlfriend's attractive mother, eliciting laughter from the group. The boys also channel their frustrations through sports, and Davis earns respect among his peers after leading his team to victory in a game of dodgeball. One day, while Butch and his friends are in the laundry room discussing their families and their plans post-release, Goodyear arrives to escort Butch to the warden's office. There, Butch learns that authorities have been investigating the officer he assaulted earlier. It turns out that this officer had a history of physically abusing teenage inmates, leading officials to consider Butch's actions as self-defense. He is informed that if he behaves well over the next week, he may be granted an early release. Later, during lunch in the dining hall, Hamill, one of Shadow's associates, attacks Meekin, leaving a cut on his cheek. This brutal act is revealed to be punishment ordered by Shadow for Meekin's failure to deliver the pills. The guards subsequently conduct searches of the dormitories but find nothing amiss. None of the inmates choose to speak up. In a moment of confrontation, Butch seeks out Shadow and chokes him with a cloth before forcefully pushing him to the ground. He warns Shadow never to mistreat Meekin again and defiantly tosses Shadow's pills onto the floor before walking away. In a subsequent scene, Goodyear approaches Superintendent Sands with a request for time off to attend his daughter's birthday party. Sands firmly denied Goodyear's request for time off, citing the recent surge in assaults as the reason he could not leave his post as unit supervisor. Disheartened, Goodyear picked up the phone to call his wife and explain why he would be unable to attend their daughter's birthday party. Meanwhile, in a nearby room, Angel was engaged in a routine painting job, playfully drawing something on the wall. His friends erupted in laughter at his antics, but Goodyear, already frustrated from his conversation with his wife, lost control. In a fit of rage, he grabbed Angel and slammed him against the wall. The impact caused Angel to hit his head and lose consciousness. Butch, witnessing the incident, quickly alerted the guards. Sands arrived on the scene almost immediately, demanding an explanation from Goodyear, who remained silent. Butch, furious at Goodyear's lack of accountability, confronted him, but his outburst resulted in Butch being sent back to solitary confinement while an investigation was initiated. While Butch languished in solitary, Looney and Eckersley seized the opportunity to target Davis. They cornered him in the laundry room, where their assault turned brutal. They beat him mercilessly and sexually assaulted him. Eventually, Butch was released from solitary and found Davis in the dining room. Before Davis could recount what had happened, Butch excitedly shared that he was on track for an early release. Realizing that revealing the assault would likely provoke Butch into a violent confrontation with Looney, Davis chose to remain silent. That night, plagued by distress and unable to sleep, Davis activated the alarm and asked the guard if he could call his mother. The guard, seeing it was only 3 a.m., refused and instructed Davis to wait until morning. Desperate for help, Davis continued to sound the alarm, frustrating the guards until they finally shut it off. Feeling helpless and overwhelmed, He returned to his bed, the weight of his situation pressing down on him. The following morning, Davis was found dead, having taken his own life. The discovery sent shockwaves through the institution. In the dining room, a heavy silence enveloped the inmates as they processed the tragic news. Suddenly, one inmate shouted dead, prompting a chorus of shouts from the others and igniting a chaotic demonstration.
Dead. Dead.
Shut the fuck up, Frank.
Dead.
Shut the fuck up now, Frank.
Amidst the uproar, Butch fixed a furious glare at Looney, who appeared visibly shaken. In a moment of fury, Butch snapped and hurled a chair against the wall, triggering a full-scale rebellion. In a blind rage, Butch launched himself at Looney, attacking him savagely. The guards struggled to contain the violence even with their shields and batons. Sands ordered the dining room to be barricaded and called in a special squad for assistance. As chaos reigned, the guards resorted to smoke grenades and rubber bullets to regain control. In the midst of this turmoil, Max tore down a flimsy partition in the kitchen, creating an opening that led to the garbage room. He urged Butch to escape, but Butch called him back, insisting they should leave together. After several attempts, Butch managed to force open the exit door and stepped outside, savoring a brief moment of freedom with a smile on his face. However, his escape was short-lived. Guards quickly captured him and beat him severely, one guard even breaking Butch's leg. As he screamed in pain, they dragged him back into the institution, his fleeting taste of freedom extinguished. Thank you for watching. If you're new here, don't forget to subscribe for more recaps. Until next time, have a wonderful day.